Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Conor here from One Leeds. We have content firing out on the channel. We've got the debrief from last night. Check it out. I've even chaptered it for you. Make sure you check that out. An hour's worth of really good content. We had over 1,000 people live. The interaction was fantastic. Make sure you check that out, everybody. It's all your extensive, comprehensive looks at Leeds United, all compiled into one fantastic video between three articulate and fabulous-looking men. Jokes. It's one of those mornings. It's a sunny day. I'm a little bit excited at the prospect of Leeds United going to Hillsborough. There's been plenty of times where I've been to Hillsborough. I think I've been 5 times now. A mixed bag of results. They've knocked us for 6. Clicker scored there, and we've had dull 0-0s as well. But tomorrow is the big one. It's a massive Yorkshire derby. I do look at Sheffield Wednesday, and I see them as a little bit of a Goliath in Yorkshire. Leeds United, obviously the biggest team in Yorkshire, but Sheffield Wednesday are definitely second in that race. There's people, look at Sheffield United and Huddersfield and Barnsley and Rotherham and Doncaster. It's never been any of that lot. For me, in sort of this Yorkshire region, if there is one, it is tomorrow night. That is the one, Sheffield Wednesday taking on Leeds United at Hillsborough. And do you know what? It's a bit of a blockbuster of a fixture, really. Sheffield United off the back of 5 wins in 6. Ugbo, their striker on loan from Troyes, has got 6 goals in 9. Barry Bannan has become Perlo again for about the 16th time in his career, his long career. And Sheffield Wednesday are on the up with 34-year-old manager Danny Roehl. So we'll wait and see how that one goes. But it is a big game for Leeds United tomorrow night. It is a risky game for Leeds United tomorrow night. Am I overhyping the Sheffield Wednesday side? I am not whatsoever. Calibre-wise, quality-wise, they are average, below average, some would say. However, they go into this game off the back of confidence, momentum, all those consistency things that we put together that really perk up a team, and that is what Sheffield Wednesday have got right now. And they've got a manager who I do rate very, very highly, Danny Roehl. There's a lot of ways in which I do respect Roehl. He did a bit of a comprehensive breakdown of the Champions League final about 2 years ago, and it was really, really impressive, actually. But when you're actually looking at what he's done with the Sheffield Wednesday side, a lot of eyebrows were raised, when he became the manager, the youngest manager in the EFL, and Sheffield Wednesday were in a bit of trouble after Darren Moore. Obviously, they came to Ellen Road earlier on in the season, and I do sort of stick by that they were the worst team I've seen at Ellen Road, and they still came out with a 0-0 draw unbelievably. That was a Leeds United side who weren't able to finish their dinner that day. We can't really compare with that game, because really it was a completely different game. A completely different game of which you've got a manager who I do feel, with Darren Moore, with the greatest of respect, is tactically inept. And I look at someone like Danny Roehl and think he's a little bit more tactically creative. And what do I mean by that? Well, I think you've seen when Roehl's been in charge, especially in his first 3 games, they got a really good point against Leicester City in there, that his tactical flexibility and ingenuity is something that is making Wednesday fans a little bit, eyebrows raised at this moment in time in terms of this guy's trajectory. What we're seeing at this moment in time is a 4-1-4-1 in build-up, which we've seen before with Calvin Phillips and a Marcelo Bielsa side, which stunned the Championship with its systematic quality. And you're seeing a lot of 4-3-3s as well with them. And the key cog in this entire system is, as we just mentioned at the start, Barry Bannan. What's interesting about what he's doing with Barry Bannan is Bannan's picking the ball up out wide. He's picking up the ball in between the centre-backs, in between the centre-back and the full-back. He's getting into striker positions. He's getting into attacking midfield positions. He's everywhere, Barry Bannan. And I think the problem with him is he's always sort of had a good game against Leeds ever since he was younger, really. I think even in his Villa days, he came up against Leeds at some point. But for Sheffield Wednesday, he's always had a good game, and he's a difficult player to mark. And we speak about his injury last night on the debrief. He went off in the game against Plymouth with a head injury at half time. Danny Roehl said they're going to assess him, so we'll wait and see how that's going to develop. But he's a top player, Bannan, at this level, in the EFL level. I think we're all sort of aware of that. He's difficult to mark because of his low centre of gravity. He gets rid of the ball very, very quickly. He can distribute it excellently well as well. His passing accuracy for his career has been very, very good. What you will see Roehl do is you will see him compacting that midfield. in a defensive block, a mid-block, I should say, and they will press out. They will make Leeds play out wide, which could work into our favour, because what we're going to do is we're going to get the ball to Crysencio Somerville. We're going to get the ball to our effective wing players. It's also worth noting that Pervader's been a real marker for them so far in the sort of second half of the season. He's not going to be available. Bannan, as I've just mentioned, might not be available, but they will press Leeds in that midfield. They will press Leeds in that midfield and force Leeds out wide, where they can double up. And where we've had a few issues recently, I feel when teams have been compact, they've been narrow, Leeds have struggled, and we've seen that. And that is exactly what Sheffield Wednesday have proven that they've done. Blackburn was an early marker of that in Danny Roehl's campaign, where they really compacted that midfield, forced Blackburn out wide, and Blackburn weren't really able to build up ahead of steam. Their compact defence as well made sure they just sat in, made sure they didn't get dragged out by any of the Blackburn midfielders, by any of the midfielders or the wingers, and that is what was the eventual outcome of the game Wednesday. Wednesday got the result, and Blackburn really struggled with build-up. So if Leeds are to build up through that midfield, which we do see quite often, we might have to see Ampadu and Joe Rodon coming into that midfield to offer us different options. Now, players are going to have to be brave as well. I need to see more from my midfield, and that is why I think this could be a coming-of-age game for Archie Gray. I think the title of this video sort of insinuated that Leeds could, really even sort of make Archie Gray on that next level when it comes to reputation in this game. It's a massive game. A lot of people are going to be watching it, and Archie Gray could dominate this game. And especially if they're trying to effectively nullify our central midfield, and Archie Gray's to come through that. If Archie Gray's to still perform at that next level and show that Leeds United's midfield in that Huddersfield game wasn't good enough, because Huddersfield did something different. They were compact, they were narrow, they forced Leeds out wide. But if Archie Gray's in that midfield and it doesn't matter, and he takes command of that game, and the best midfielder on the pitch isn't a Barry Bannan, isn't a Glenn Kamara, isn't a Gruev, it is in fact Archie Gray, then this could be a coming-of-age game for him. We could be coming away from this game if Archie Gray is in the midfield, and we could be saying, wow, do you remember that game Archie Gray played against Sheffield Wednesday in the Yorkshire derby? Whilst they were in amazing form, we were in amazing form, and our backs were up against the wall. We've had two poor performances. Archie Gray came in and he ran it. That could be one of those games. And I keep mentioning Jude Bellingham when we're talking about Archie Gray, but that's because there were coming-of-age games for Jude Bellingham in the Championship. I remember the 4-5, Leeds United beat Birmingham. Bellingham was the best game. Bellingham was the best player on the pitch, in my opinion, in that game, and he was only 16 years of age. That was his game where people look back on. This could be Archie Gray's game. Comes into that midfield, Connor Roberts at right back, and he dominates. And that, for me, Archie Gray comes into that midfield, and this is where two of our ace cards could be played. Archie's had a rest in the previous game, bang him on in central midfield, do something with that central space, because what's going to happen is I do see it going the Huddersfield way, unless you get in a Gruev and a Kamara being a little bit better on the ball in terms of moving it forward, in terms of finding those forward passes quicker, being more effective in driving through that midfield. Because at this moment in time, I do feel it's a little bit lateral. Handbrakes on, I feel it is a little bit safe. And if Kamara is to play, and Archie's not to play in that central midfield, if you get into these spaces, we saw a Polish man, get on the edge of that box 4 years ago and drill it into the bottom corner when Leeds' backs were against the wall. We need to see more strikes on goal from Glenn Kamara. And if that isn't to happen, which I don't think it is, because I don't think he's that sort of player, I would play Archie in that advanced 8 role for this game, because I feel it's unpredictable, and I feel Danny Roehl will set up to really nullify Leeds' central spaces, because he's done it before. And Huddersfield have already shown that if you compact and you narrow against Leeds, you can be effective. We've also got to stop going down Somerville's side. We have to stop doing that. If we are forced out wide by Sheffield Wednesday, let's do something else. Let's go wide right. Let's go wide right, and let's not just force it down Somerville's side, because naturally he's going to get frustrated if he's not able to get the actions off consistently. There needs to be a different option. And Archie even can give a different option there. He'll help out Rutter, he'll free up Rutter, because there'll be a massive focus on Archie Gray. And let's take it to Sheffield Wednesday. Let's put them on the back foot. We have to have a much more effective array of options in this game. And I think Archie gives us that. And I think he opens up space for other players by driving into that midfield as well. I also do wonder if that then means that Ampadu and Joe Rodon don't have to constantly be effectively trying to get into the midfield, to get forward, to give Leeds more options in that central space, because Archie's providing that outlet. But yeah, I do think we need to effectively look at the right. I think Roberts and Dan James are perfect for this. This game is going to need characters. It's going to need leaders in the dressing room to step forward. I think those two, that Welsh contingent, that Welsh partnership, are perfect for this game. Willie Gnonto can't start for me, and it's a real shame because I was a big advocate of Willie, and I still am. I think his technical ability is still beyond comprehension, really, when it comes to this level, but he gets too drawn into the emotional side of the game, and I don't want to see, when we're 1-0 down against Huddersfield, him rolling around on the floor, effectively trying to get decisions from the referee. I need you to get up and we go again, because we've only got 45, 50 minutes left, whatever it was, and I just need to see a little bit more character there from Willie Gnonto, and I feel he's got that to develop in his game. And Dan James, I know, is going to get on with it, and Dan James, after midweek, once again, just what a fantastic season he's having. What a brilliant season he's having. And he deserves to start this game. Now, the question is, Elia Gruev is up for Player of the Month, for goodness sake. And do we take him out for this game? Do we take him out? Because there has to be a defensive component, a screener in front of that back four, because Sheffield Wednesday will offer something going forward. Ugbo's got 6 goals in 9 games. Barry Bannan's a constant threat, as we know. And Leeds United have got to effectively set up at the back. We have got the most clean sheets in the league. We are formidable when it comes to defence. The set pieces have to be better. I want to see one set piece taker for Leeds United. I don't want to see 3, 4, 5. I don't want to see Somerville, Gnonto, Gruev, all of these players taking corners throughout the game, because then you don't consistently get used to taking set pieces. I want to see a consistent set piecer, and I do believe that will make Leeds United a lot better when it comes to attacking set pieces, because we know what to expect. Is it a player who's going to outwardly swing the ball in or swing the ball inward? Is it going to be a little bit more pace on it? Do they hit the ball cleaner? I need to know who's taking my set pieces, and then the team can effectively set up for and against it, obviously. And I just think that's going to help Leeds in the long run. Defensively, if Jorginho Rutter and Patrick Bamford are to be on the front post defending a corner, I need to see more from them. And if you've got 2 6'1" players there, which they are, I need to see them getting their heads on the ball. I need to see them, in my opinion, actually in the mix defending for Leeds United. I don't want to be seeing Somerville and Gnonto marking their best players. And I understand that zonal, but it's just not effective. The biggest players have got to mark the biggest players, surely. And Sheffield Wednesday are going to target exactly what Huddersfield targeted. We've got to be careful that this doesn't turn into a Huddersfield game, because it's got all the hallmarks. They're off the back of a successful run. They're a big team. They know they can't match Leeds calibre and quality-wise, so they're going to use effective tactics at their disposal. And Danny Roehl will look to do that, and he's already shown that he'll do that. So, massive game for Leeds United. I do think there needs to be changes in there. I put Roberts at right back. I put Archie in the middle. And to be honest, I'd put Mateo Joseph up top. I think he's going to be completely unpredictable. I don't think Roehl will expect him to start. I think he's much more incisive, much sharper, much quicker than Pat Bamford. And I don't see what you lose putting Joseph in ahead of Patrick Bamford. The whole experience chat is absolute rubbish. I'm not having that. I'm not having it. If you can effectively get in and around Joseph, he's a bit of an ace card, and he's already shown against Chelsea that he can effectively finish and effectively be a problem for some top defenders in European football. I do not understand why he can't transition that to a Sheffield Wednesday, because Pat Bamford's got more experience, which he has. Of course, Pat's got more experience. I like Pat. I think Pat's going to be all right, in that role. I don't think he's going to be exceptional, but it'll give us something in that role in terms of hold up, in terms of being a presence up front. But Joseph gives you more. He gives you more. And I just would look at doing that. I think it is a better option, and I would make 3 changes for this game, to be honest with you. And I'm really interested to see what you guys would do. But Archie Gray, this could be a coming-of-age game for him. And Joseph, this could be another coming-of-age game for him. We could be looking at this one and saying, wow, do you remember when Joseph took Sheffield Wednesday apart? And why not? He's got that nastiness. He's got that combativeness that would work in a Yorkshire derby. And as I've mentioned, he's a wild card. He's an ace card. It's completely unpredictable to what Danny Roehl will be thinking is going to be, Leeds United starting 11. For this game, I know Gruev's up for Player of the Month, but there's got to be a change in that midfield between him or Kamara. Yeah, guys, huge decisions to make. Gruev, Roberts, Archie. But I just do think this will be a coming-of-age game for Mateo Joseph, and I'd be really excited to see him start in this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. We're going to be doing further analysis on the Patreon page. We're going to have a new series coming with Oscar. That's going to be on the Patreon. We're going to also be doing a tactical analysis sort of episode on there as well. Preview previewing the opponent and reviewing the opponent. We did it last week, and we're going to be doing it again. There's just been a lot of games this week for Leeds United. Make sure you download SofaScore as well, everybody. Loads of people are downloading it now, getting some really good reviews in the comments and stuff like that. It's well worth it. Affiliate link, free bonus bits as well if you click One Leeds, link in the description below. And make sure, you're following everything One Leeds, everybody. We might do a watch-along tomorrow. Slap a like on the video if you want to see a watch-along. But albeit we'll have loads of your reaction stuff tomorrow. Everyone, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like, comment, and subscribe. Come on, Leeds. Massive game tomorrow. See you in a bit.